All right, everybody. Welcome to Who Runs the Commonwealth. My name is Austin Logan. That is Zach Kinney, and Luke Howard will be joining us later. I'm a big JMU fan. Zach Kinney's a big UVA fan, and Luke Howard is a big Virginia Tech fan. We are here to discuss the state of Virginia college football. We might even mention ODU and Liberty. Let's go ahead and get started. Well, Zach, yeah, let's go ahead and start with Virginia because we'll go like that.
Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, last week UVA got by the skin of their teeth again. Won an OT 17-16 over Carolina on the road. Another very disappointing performance following up from them barely beating Washington State the week before. I had called that we'd cover the spread. I thought the offense would get back into a rhythm, and that wasn't the case. Injuries are really, really starting to derail the team. It's not really looking like we feel like we've lost all momentum we had earlier in the season, dealing with a ton of offensive line injuries. Our do-it-all receiver and kick returner Cam Ross is out, and I think that was the biggest problem for our offense last Saturday. And then we lost our second running back, Xavier Brown, to a torn ACL. So just a bunch of bad injuries are starting to pile up, but the good news is we're still finding ways to win. Carolina played a hell of a game defensively. Their defensive line controlled the tempo of the game. We weren't able to establish a run, which is what we've been relying on all year. And then Chandler Morris, our quarterback, still just not 100% with a shoulder injury, and he wasn't really able to do much. But to be fair, I don't blame it as much on the injury as much as he was just running for his life all day. Carolina lived in the backfield. But luckily, with the decline of our offense, our defense has been improving week by week. In the first half of the season, they were giving up tons of big plays and points, but now the defense is what's keeping us together and keeping us in ball games. So I guess that's the big positive. But yeah, we had our opportunities early. We got down to their 1 yard line at one point late in the third quarter, came away with 0 points, went forward on fourth and goal, and we were scared to run the ball because we couldn't. So we got no points there. And then Carolina also had missed opportunities. They had a missed field goal right before half. They had a pick down on our 10 yard line. So both teams kind of just fumbled away opportunities, and it just came down to who was going to persevere in OT. And we scored a touchdown first. Carolina answered really quickly. And then what I think is a stupid move, they decided to go for two, and it was a horrible play call, and we stopped them on the one. If you watch the game from start to finish, anybody would agree like Carolina was the better team that day. Their defense was better, and their offense was actually able to move the ball. They just got stopped right before they would get into our territory, basically. And it was like that all day. And it looked like we have just ran out of steam. So that's literally the perfect opportunity to keep OT alive and keep going. So I felt like anytime we were running our offense out on the field, we were just running on fumes. It was stupid. So for them to go to two, when they stayed on the field, their offense, I was like jumping them down cheering. I'm like, finally, this game can be over. Like, all we got to do is get one stop. I trust my defense way more than the offense at this point. So I was ecstatic that they were going for two, and then we stopped them. So we definitely lucked out in that game. And again, like I said, losing momentum now going into the final stretch of the year, which sucks. But good news going into next week, we get back Cam Ross, offensive line still banged up, but our center Brady Wilson will be back. He struggled all week last week. It was his first game back from injury, but I think he'll get back in the swing of things. So again, I'll say it again. Hopefully we improve like I thought we would last week, but another opportunity this coming Saturday. But yeah, very disappointed in UVA's performance against Carolina, and I'm hoping that the last two games is just an anomaly and they can get it fixed.
Yeah, I think this was an interesting game. I think I told you I was gonna watch it. So I was watching it. It was tied at 10 and I fell asleep, but because it was not an
Uh,
exciting game to
if I
me,
wasn't a fan of either team, I would not. That was one of the worst games probably all year in college football.
Yeah, and me and Luke went to the Virginia Tech game Friday, and so I was like really beat from that because we went to the Virginia Tech game and then we went to like Top of the Stairs, which is a bar in Blacksburg. Have you ever been to Blacksburg?
Only
Yeah,
for UVA games. I've never like gone out in Blacksburg or anything.
really.
Yeah, that's not my territory.
Yeah,
I choose to stay away from there.
tough to walk in there with the Virginia UVA gear on. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, so I was like pretty whipped. And I mean, UVA allowed 6 sacks,
we
like you
only
mentioned.
allowed five all year going into the game, and then we allowed six in one game. It's absurd.
Yeah, that's there's a statistic out there that says sacks are worth X amount of points, and I think that's probably fairly true, especially if depending on where out of the field it is. But yeah, 6 sacks to UNC's three is pretty tough. Looks like maybe they had time of possession too. They definitely had more
Us.
yards, yeah, which is pretty
They
surprising.
owned every statistic.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what I was noticing was pretty crazy. But they had 3 turnovers and UVA only had one. So I think that's kind of where you can see they. I wouldn't even say it was like a win. It's like I wouldn't say it was. I wouldn't. I mean, it was a win, But I don't know. It was tough to watch. So I mean, you're right. Cam Ross is out. You guys have line injuries. I can't remember who I was talking to. Maybe it was my dad or maybe it was Luke at Virginia Tech, and he was like, UNC's gonna win. You know how he called the bet. I was like, maybe because like UVA is just getting good this year. You know what I mean? Like they spent a lot of money, got a lot of transfers, but it still takes a little while to build the depth because last year, same thing kind of happened with JMU, a little bit different backstory, but all their players transferred to Indiana. I think they had like one or two returning starters. So they started 4-0, beating UNC, but then the injuries started to mount up, you know what I mean? So
It's the
like
same
later
thing,
down the
yeah.
stretch,
It's the
yeah,
same thing
it's
with
tough to
UVA last year. Last year, we started off the season 4-1. We were looking pretty hot. Looked like it was going to be our turning point year. And then the second half of our season, injuries started piling up, and we also started playing tougher opponents. I mean, you had to play Louisville, Clemson on the road, Notre Dame on the road, SMU, who was one of the hottest teams in the country at the time, Virginia Tech to end the year, and in Blacksburg, which is doesn't matter how bad Tech is, that's a nightmare for us. So, like, I don't like if I took UVA's team from last year and put it with this year's schedule, I think that's at least a 7-5 team. So it's like last year we lost Louisville, we lost the last possession. There's a couple more that we lost at the last possession the past 2 years. So it's like UVA's been so close. So that's why it's like I don't care if we get lucky in wins because we've been unlucky in losses for the past 2 years where we should have been a 7-8 win team in the past 2 years. Finally, luck is on our side for once, and now we're 7-1. So I don't care if that's luck or whatever, but I feel like we deserve it more than anybody given what we've been through over the past 3 years. But it does suck that injuries are starting to pile up again. And so if it takes luck to win out and just keep winning games down the stretch, then that is what it is.
yeah.
Yeah, Kurt Signetti.
I mean, yeah, there was a ton of luck in that season. You know what I mean? Like they went 11-1, beating UVA and they had like a lightning delay. You know what I mean? So sometimes that's how you win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we
Like
were
they
just
won.
talking yeah, and we were just talking about the turnover battle. That's huge too. Like I looked at a stat. UVA's been negative in the turnover ratio for the past like 6 years straight. And this year we're +9, which is unheard of. The only team that's even close to that ratio is Indiana, and they're number 2 in the country, and they're +8. So it's like right there is a difference. We're just not turning the ball over as much. We're forcing turnovers, and so now these overtime games and one possession games that we've been losing the past several years, we're now winning, and it's really that simple, I think. So we got to keep that trend up.
And then the running game is definitely helping out too. What's the running back you have?
It was Jamari Taylor. I mean, it was until our O-line got banged up. Now our running game is kind of a joke. So we got to get these offensive linemen back because it doesn't matter if you got fucking Adrian Peterson or Saquon Barkley back there behind no line. There's not much you can do. So yeah, I mean, last week we had got Brady Wilson back. We thought that was going to help, and we ended up having our worst rushing game of the year. So more pressure on Chandler Morris now because of that.
And obviously he's playing a little injured. I mean, JMU had the same problem last year as well. As like quarterback's hurt, but he's not hurt enough to put in the backup. You know what I mean?
Right.
Plus, our backup last year was hurt, so it was like it was going to be a freshman. But yeah, I mean, like you said, win is a win. They're 7-1. They're 15 in the country. Do you think they stay 15 in the country after this week, or do you think they drop a little bit, or what do you think about that?
It just depends on how the game goes. I mean, last week, I mean, we couldn't have looked worse in a win, and we moved up a spot just because people around us are losing. So you never know. Like, I think rankings are so stupid until the college football
College
playoff
football.
rankings come out. In my personal opinion, even as a diehard UVA fan, I think we should be like number 24. I don't think we're 15. Like, we're ahead of teams like Tennessee and stuff. Like, if we're being real, they'd beat us by like 3 scores on a neutral site
Mhm.
field. I don't know. But we should, if we win and it's ugly again, and we'll get into predictions later, we'll probably just stay the same given what's going on around us.
Yeah, I forgot the rankings already came out with the JMU game on Tuesday. I'm like, I feel like it's Saturday right now. But
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And they play Cal this week, but at Cal. We'll talk about that
We'll
later.
get into
But
that.
yep. So let's go ahead and go through JMU.
Hmm?
It's just about 10:18. So Luke should be joining us any minute now. And then we can talk about the Tech game. So JMU played last night. Their technical was this week or the previous week. And we have this Saturday off, and then we play next Saturday against Marshall. Did you watch this game?
I did not get to see any of it.
I tried to tell you. No.
You did.
Yeah, I knew. I thought it was going to be a better game just because Texas State's offense is like, I mean, they have 650. I think that's what they're averaging. They're leading the Sun Belt in total offense, points per game,
Hmm.
like 36 points a game. So I thought it'd be like a competitive matchup,
Me
but
too.
it didn't look competitive on the field. I don't even think like when it was 28-20 at halftime, it seemed to me still like they still were in control.
It's funny because that's exactly what or one of us predicted that. It was going to be like the ODU game where it's a close, like that game was 28-27. JMU just dominates second half. The same thing happened. That's crazy.
Yeah, maybe it was Luke, but I don't know. But I kind of predicted like the defense would kind of turn out. I honestly expect him to keep him under 300 yards, but 350 is not like terrible. Their quarterback's like very good. I don't know. I mean, they were talking up their wide receivers so much, but they had so many drop passes. It was insane. It was like four or five in the game. One guy hit him in the face mask and it was an interception. It was a slant and he hit him in the face and Jamie picked it off. It was like the second play of the game, maybe first or second. It was in the first drive.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was pretty crazy.
Well, you want to go ahead and tell the audience what happened, like the final score and everything?
Yeah, yeah. Well, JMU blew out Texas State, routed them 52 to 20, 28 at halftime. And even the first quarter, it was quarter by quarter, 14 nothing JMU. Then it was 14-20 Texas State. I'm sorry, 28-20 Texas State at halftime. And then JMU came out, scored 21 points. I believe two of their interceptions were in the third quarter, setting up for really short fields. They had short fields the whole night. I wonder what their like average distance was because like even in the first half they were getting it on the 50 a bunch. I think they went for it on fourth down a few times. And then fourth quarter, JMU kind of sealed it with a kick. They had their backups in the fourth quarter, which is pretty, I guess it's smart. I mean, to me, it seems like you're kind of trying to get style points going against the top of the AAC for like that group of five
You
bid
kind of
and
need to.
yeah. But I guess 52-20 is like, I mean, it's kind of good, I guess. I don't know, I don't vote on it. I don't vote on the college football playoff. But total yards, 511. Passing yards, that's pretty crazy. Alonzo Barnett was 12 of 18 for 265 passing yards. 12 of 18, 264 passing yards, excuse me. Four touchdowns, one interception. I want to say the one interception was on a trick play that they ran at their 20 after like some interception or turnover on downs. I can't remember, but it was pretty watching it was tough. It was like a reverse toss back kind of play, which has worked in the past. So, but Alonzo Barnett was also the top rusher, which is to me pretty crazy. Like 2 weeks in a
Hmm.
row, 10 carries, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Wayne Knight, who was our leading running back, 13 carries, 48 yards. But he also had two catches for 69 yards. He had like a crazy 50-yard run or catch and run. And then Nick DeGennaro, three catches, almost identical to his game against ODU, three catches, over 100 yards, and two touchdowns. So that's pretty impressive. I love that guy. I see they're really getting him involved in the offense this year or recently. Yeah, I mean, they're doubling up yards per play. Wasn't super surprised. What about you?
I mean, kind of like how you started off, I was surprised by just the score, the final. We talked about it last week. Texas State I thought had a good offense, and some of their opponents they had played in conference earlier, they looked like a decent team. So I thought it would be like maybe a two-score game, but it kind of still being a ball game, like late in the third, and then JMU running away with it in the fourth. But JMU just took complete control in the second half, kind of able to do whatever they want, defense forcing turnovers. So. I was just surprised by the final. Like you said, I thought it'd be a little closer. But I mean, 52-20 is huge in terms of style points. Like you're putting in your backups at a certain point in the fourth, like more than half the quarter left, and you win by 30 plus. I mean, that's huge. Like so, yeah, it's like style points are really important right now.
We'll talk about App State going into that week, but always worried about App State. They're
Hmm.
terrible this year, but
They're bad.
they've had JMU's number like almost every year.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time they won was like a comeback from 28-3. But yeah, I mean, 100% agree. I definitely thought it was gonna be closer too because of the high-powered offense. But I did figure JMU could score on the team. But they're also historically like, not the best. I talked about it last week too. Not the best road team. So they kind of come out flat sometimes. But again, after bye weeks, they're always pretty good. So maybe that had to I don't know. I don't know what kind of effect it had, but next week's is Marshall, so that'll be a different animal. But Marshall looking pretty rough against Coastal Carolina, though.
Yeah,
Right.
so I guess no GMU talk for one more week.
Try and stop me. No, I'm kidding.
Alrighty then. So in UVA's case, we go on the road to Cal Saturday afternoon. Cal's had a little bit of an up and down year. They struggled with consistency. They started out year 3-0, not really any impressive wins except for beating Minnesota at home, which looked impressive at the time. Minnesota's always been a decent team in the Big Ten under PJ Fleck, but Minnesota just got ran out of the building against Iowa. I mean, I don't even know what the final was. I should probably know that, but at one point I think they were down like 41-0, and it was like 34-0 in the second quarter. So all to say that Minnesota game is looking less and less relevant. They then got shut out 34-0 by San Diego State, barely beat BC on the road, got blown out by Duke at home, and then got lucky against Carolina, then fumbling on the 1 yard line at Cal. So Cal, and then obviously last week, Luke will get into it more, but just quickly, they lost on the road in Blacksburg in OT. So just all of that combined, I don't think Cal is that great of a team. There's actually absolutely nothing respectable about their resume so far. So yeah, all that to say, UVA going into Cal, I'm very scared about this one. Just like I said before, the momentum of our team, it's not looking great. And going across country, just being on the road, that's always scary. I do think, and I know Carolina and Cal played 2 weeks ago and Cal won, but I do think if Carolina and Cal played again, Carolina would beat them, especially if it was a home game. Basically, I'm just trying to say I'm way more scared of Carolina than I am Cal. I do think from a matchup perspective, it wasn't great for us. Carolina being a predominantly stopping the run first kind of defense. Their D line is pretty impressive, able to get pressure on us, whereas Cal's not really known for that. They have a pretty subpar run D, and that goes up against our strength and our run offense. We're able to get it back together. Virginia Tech didn't even have to really throw the ball that much to beat them. They just shoved the ball down their throats all night. I saw one stat. Tech ran the ball 19 times in a row at one point in the game. So if we're able to establish a run, get up early, I don't think there should be any issues. Cal does have a really good linebacker. He's one of the best in the ACC, and they have a really good true freshman quarterback. But outside of those two players, there's nothing really to write home about on their team. So if this was a home game, I would think it would easily say UVA by 2 scores. But because it's on the road, cross country, I'm kind of scared. And it also, it's just like, again, like I started out with, the momentum piece. Like I know it's coming. Like I know we're not winning out. We're going to lose at some point. What we've been doing for the past 3 weeks is not sustainable. Anybody with 2 eyes can see that. So part of me wants to say it's this week. Just logically, it makes sense. Your luck runs out at some point. But it's just the matchup. The more I look at the matchup, it's just their weaknesses are against our strengths. Our weaknesses don't really line up with any of their strengths. It makes sense for us to be the better team and to get the win. The line started out and opened UVA 3.5. That's climbed to 5.5. So, I mean, somebody knows something. A lot of money's coming in on UVA, which surprised me. But like I said, the more I look at it, I think we should be able to take care of business, but we have to get guys back. So we do get Cam Ross back. It'll be Brady Wilson, our starting center's second game back in the lineup from his injury. I think he'll be more conditioned, more adjusted. And I do think, like I said this last week, and it didn't come true, but I'll predict it this week. At some point, I think our offense is going to be like just tired of this shit. have that chip on their shoulder. And if we can protect Chandler, we can average 3.5, 4 yards a carry. I see no way that we could lose the game. So yeah, in terms of prediction, we're favored by 5.5. This is UVA football we're talking about. It's going to come down to the very last second. It could be another fucking OT game, our fourth of the year. Who knows? I think it'll be fairly low scoring in the first half, and I think we'll probably trade blows in the second. But I'm going to take UVA in a really tight win, 24-21. Comes down to the end. I just think from a matchup perspective and schematic perspective, the game kind of lines up pretty good for us.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I think this is kind of like a get right game for them. Like you mentioned, you got some key pieces coming back, and I'm not sure how UVA is against a run, but that's all Cal could do against Virginia Tech. And like the passing game was awful. I know the quarterback is, I mean, going into the game, I knew the quarterback was really good, but yeah, they couldn't pass at all just because like the offensive line was getting crushed. And I get this coming from your perspective, like UVA's perspective. But like from like an outside perspective, UVA football, you're talking about like UVA football, it might come down to the last second. I'm talking about might get roasted by the algorithm for this, but
It's
Cal football, you know? I know they
fair.
started 4-0 or 4-1, right? Like it's all downhill for them, I think. I mean, they lost to Virginia Tech. Yes, it was at home. Yes, they traveled across the country, but Tech is terrible, dude. I mean, Drones, he had a lot of running yards, but
I don't
I
think Tech's
mean,
terrible, but that's probably a conversation for another day.
yeah,
They're getting better week by week.
yeah, maybe. But I mean, ODU beat him by like 30, brother. I can't get over that. Nobody in that locker room can get over that. I think that's going to be lingering. I mean, it has to be for them. And but their whole secondary is transferred out, so we'll see. Like I said, the best offense. They were going fast a little bit, like high tempo, which I think threw Virginia Tech off in like the first half. But they really didn't have much going for them other than that, and then like some short yardage like runs from what I saw. But again, they were the away team, so I pretty much just have that one game to go off of for Cal because I don't like watch a lot of ACC football. Yeah, that's my take on it. I think it's I think it's more like a. I'm gonna say, how's the quarterback looking? His shoulder better, or it's
Oh,
about the same?
it's just that shit hurts when he lands on it or he gets sacked or
Yeah.
he bothered it. Like every game the past 3 weeks, it's gotten him bothered somehow. Whether he takes a big hit or last week against Carolina, he threw a pick, chased down the guy, and then landed on his shoulder while trying to tackle him. And then he was in horrible pain the rest of the game. So it's just like if we keep him upright and he doesn't try and run the ball or he gets sacked and falls like hard on it by a 300-pound lineman, he should be fine. And like watching the game, like, and a lot of people on UVA's message boards have like noticed this, and even the coaches have said at some of their press conferences, like he's not like the throws that are missing, he's just missing because he's just a little inaccurate. He's a little erratic. That's just who he is. He's not missing it because of the shoulder. So a lot of people think, and I believe too, like the injury is kind of overblown. Like yeah, it sucks, and the only negative is it takes away his running ability because we're not calling RPOs anymore. We're not calling read options. And so now teams can stack the box more knowing he's not a threat to run. That's the kicker. That's like what is
Mm,
hurting us as an offense. But in terms of him throwing the ball, I don't think it's bothering him. So take that
gotcha.
how you will.
I think that does play a part into it. I was gonna go, or initially I was gonna go like 35-14, but I think I'll probably go
Damn.
28-14. Yeah, I
That would be
mean,
crazy if we get 2-score win. I can breathe for a Saturday.
yeah, you and me both, dude. I was stressed on Tuesday. I told you I took off work Wednesday and everything.
What do you mean you were stressed? The game was over 3 minutes into the third quarter. I would pay $1,000 to have that.
Yeah, but going into halftime, I was a little worried. Not worried, but anyway, yeah. I think y'all
So
got
you
this
think we
one.
win by 2 scores?
Maybe 10 points. I'm with everybody else in Vegas.
We
Keep pushing
cover.
that line up. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I like it.
Dang, Coastal is beating Marshall 44-27 now.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dang, Coastal's looking scary now when JMU has to go on the road in the final game of the year.
Last 3 years, Jamie's beaten Coastal 150-30. So I think we'll be all right. That's the one game I'm not worried about. We beat him at home that bad too. It was like 63-10 or something. You want to, I mean, I know we're waiting on Luke, but you want to go into Virginia Tech or I mean we can talk about Marshall next week, but I don't think.
No, because we have to have something to talk about next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. Like, I don't. There's
I
no
mean, I was
telling.
at the game. I got it.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, so I drove down to Blacksburg. It was like a 3 hour drive from Richmond. Got there, did the whole Enter the Sandman thing, got some turkey legs, got some beers. It was a good time. Everybody in the stands. Well, I'm gonna say this: the stands were not like packed. You know what I mean? We didn't even sit in our seats,
It was the
just
lowest
because
attendance for Virginia Tech I think I saw in like 25 years.
that's that's weird on a Friday night.
I think it's because it's a Friday night. It was a little chilly out, and they suck this year. It's kind of a perfect storm for nobody. Like they were posting on social media like pictures of the stands, like
Yeah.
how empty one left side was. But it's still like Lane Stadium holds 66K. The attendance was 53K. It's like it's still like to me that's impressive that 3K are still going, and it's their worst season in forever. Like if that was UVA, we hold 63. There'd be like 35K at the game, like 50% full. Like Tech is still 75, 80% full, no matter how bad they are. So props to their
Well,
fan base.
I will say we got tickets for $10 a piece, so I'm not sure. I don't know if you know what I mean. Like, yes, the stands were full, but they kind of gave them away. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
But I don't know. I don't know what UVA usually does. I've only been to one game. Cal Virginia Tech. 30 I was 34 Cal, 42 Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech started off hot, had like a 45, I believe, yard touchdown. Kyron Drones, like one of the best passes I've ever seen him make this year anyway. 2 years ago, pretty regular. But Cal got a three to kind of like I don't know. It seemed like it was gonna be a blowout, to be honest with you. And then the second quarter, they scored 17 unanswered going into halftime. So it was 17-13. I mean, 17-10, excuse me. And a bunch of people kind of like left after that. We almost left too, but we're like, no, why not? Let's grab a couple more beers. And
Yeah,
we waited in line pretty much. Dude, one thing I'll say about Lane Stadium, all right, I think we can kind of agree on this. The people are kind of rude. Like, somebody ran into me, like, trucked me, didn't say anything.
that's Hokies for you, man.
Yeah, I mean, Southwest Virginia, man. I mean, goddamn. Be a little nicer. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, like we couldn't even get into our section because they were like the cops were there reading the sections. Like this, like
Who
why
does
would
that?
like yeah, it was a. I've heard it before. I mean, it took like 5 minutes to get to our seats for where we came in at. We didn't even go in the student entrance, which was a little bit closer, but it was pretty crazy. Yeah, not like the best environment. Turkey leg, we got a turkey leg. Have you ever had a turkey leg?
Yeah, not from Blacksburg though.
I mean, I've never gotten one from Blacksburg, but it did not live up to the hype, dude. That thing's all cartilage. I mean, well, we won't go into it, but I was disappointed in that turkey leg. It was like $20.
Jesus.
Oh my God. Yeah, yeah. You're
Well,
telling me
anytime you spend concessions there at Lane Stadium, you're paying for future players, so I wouldn't do that if I were you.
you're right. I even got a Virginia Tech like beer, that
Oh
how
my,
like
yeah,
colleges
yeah.
have. Yeah, I know. But I was trying to immerse myself. I wore a Haley sweatshirt to the game. I almost bought a shirt and I was
No,
at like Dick's and I was like, I can't just not wear Virginia Tech. There was a ton of people not wearing Virginia Tech. I swear, there's just like super casual fans there. There were
that's
some
like
hardcore fans.
that's their whole fan base. Like they're
Y-
like the Southwest Virginia people, dare I say rednecks, come out of the woodworks because that's their NFL team. Like
Yeah.
that's why they sell out every game. It's like the only thing to do in Blacksburg because there's literally nothing else to do. So they sell out every game because what else are you going to do on a Saturday? Because it's not just their alumni. If it was just their alumni, it'd be like UVA. They'd average like 50K a game max.
hmm Agree. Yeah. Yeah. So fourth quarter comes around, tie it up. Obviously, going into overtime. Overtime. It just goes like that. Both teams were running all over each other. They couldn't. I mean, neither. I was going to say Cal couldn't throw it worth crap, but they had 286 passing yards. I didn't see that.
Yeah, like statistically, it looks like the quarterback had a really good game.
Interesting. I guess maybe because they were like getting it to the goal line a lot and then kind of pushing it in because it didn't seem like there was a lot of passing touchdowns other than Kyron Jones is the one I saw. But anyway, 119 yards for Kyron, 39 rushing yards for Cal. That's insane. That's just like an insane number. I guess they were playing from being down, but 357 though for Tech.
Wait, Cal
I
only
think
had
Drones,
39 rushing yards.
yeah,
39.
yeah, 3-9.
Oh, so their quarterback was the whole team. Like that's what I'm saying. He's good. They scored 34 points and only rushed for 40 yards. That's absolutely crazy. That
Yeah,
means
the
their
dude
passing
took
attack is scary.
he took a lot of sacks though. Negative 27 yards rushing. But yeah,
Oh,
Drones had
that goes into the rushing stat in college. So
yeah,
that's
so
why.
it's
If he
like
took a bunch of
yeah,
sacks, he probably had way more actual rush yards.
what was minus 27. So it's still like
Oh,
60,
it's still not
70.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tech
not
did a good
great,
job.
but a lot better than
Helping them out.
39 though, for
Yeah.
sure. So rushing Hawkins, which I thought Stewart would be like the main rusher, but he had 21 carries for 167 yards, averaged 8 yards a carry. Like you said, they ran it. They were just running it a lot.
That's what they're best
Like,
at.
yeah, they need to be doing a triple option out there, man. But yeah, it looked like it was two not great teams playing, but it was a good game because of that. What about the penalty yardage was? Probably not high, I
Damn,
think
actually it
say.
was really bad. Tech had 10, Cal had 9. So not great coaching there.
Yeah, yeah. I think I saw some stuff where it was like just the refing was like overall bad though.
It was bad. Like even as a diehard Virginia Tech hater, tuned in a little bit of plays at the end because I was just curious that it was going to OT. It would be fun to watch. And there was one, the worst, two roughing the passer penalties that were absolutely a joke, both on Virginia
Yes, that's
Tech,
what it was. Yep.
and it was so bad. Like the dude, and it happened to UVA last week too, but the dude is barely touching the Cal quarterback, and then they got 3 points off of that, which led to them going to OT. Like that game should have been over in regulation if it wasn't for the refs.
Yeah, it's funny. We also had a penalty like that this year. The refs are just, it's insane, dude. It's like,
College officiating is a joke. I hate it. And
yeah,
there's
it's
no like
getting,
regulation towards it. Like there's if you have a bad call, it's like a slap on the wrist. Like nobody cares. It's just not great.
well, I don't know if you saw it, but the SEC, they suspended one ref for the whole year.
Yeah, because they care more. ACC refs are a joke, and
Yeah.
imagine
It's just
lesser
like,
conferences who really don't care.
hey, whoa, hey. What's up, Luke? Luke has joined us here as we're talking about Virginia Tech. I just told him about the game that me and you went to, but and then I think Zach talked about it a little bit, but go ahead.
Yeah,
Take
Thoughts
this
on
us
the
is a good
away.
game?
game.
Jump right in.
This is a good game. I feel like even though I'm a big Kyron Jones hater, I don't feel like it's all on Kyron Jones. I think it has a lot to do with the offensive line. Because even though Kyron Jones last year had, I think it was like 4,300 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, and this year, I mean 11 interceptions. Sorry, but this year is just progressively getting worse. They can't get the ball down the field. It's just very frustrating. I'm very excited about. There's a lot of rumors around James Franklin. Is that his name? Coming to coach at Tech, which if he comes to Tech, that would be very exciting because he already recruits very highly in the 757. But I think Tech's got a lot of work to do. I don't think they're going to be bowl eligible this year, especially with what they've done.
Yeah. The James Franklin thing, the news is pretty exciting. I would hate to see that, so I'm sure it would be good for the team. I think he recruits a little bit more of the 804, which is also really high or good recruiting grounds for Virginia. Pretty similar to like 757, really. And then obviously Pennsylvania and like Northeast, which is where JMU gets a lot of their players. So that's kind of where it kind of sucks for me. What do you think, Zach? You think they're going to get James? Mr.
Um,
Franklin?
yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of when these coaching stuff comes up, everybody likes to just jump on rumors and stuff. And I've been paying a close attention to the Virginia Tech message boards and obviously all over Twitter and whatnot. I do think there's mutual interest. That's basically confirmed that they've had talks, but Jimmy Sexton, Franklin's agent, he's the most well-known, most financed agent in all of college football. He's like Steve Sark's agent amongst a lot of other well-known and highly paid head coaches. So the current rumor is Virginia Tech stuff is just for leverage. They're making it seem like Virginia Tech and Franklin's close to getting a deal done to raise up the price for a team that he actually wants to go to. But I don't like to comment on any of this stuff because it's all like he said, she said. Nobody really knows anything. Like the entire Virginia Tech message boards think they've already got him, and like they're already cheering, and they're gonna look so fucking stupid if James Franklin doesn't go there. But then on the other side of it, they very well could be in like real contract negotiation talks. So nobody knows a thing. So if they tell you they know, they don't. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, in terms of the outlook for Virginia Tech, yeah, I wouldn't be a fan of it as a UVA fan, just because, like Luke said, the recruiting, Penn State is the main reason, other than UVA and Virginia Tech sucking. that the two schools can't recruit in Virginia anymore because Penn State's been stealing them for the past decade. Virginia kids, Maryland kids, Pennsylvania kids, all three of those states were really good recruits for Virginia Tech and UVA for the past like 25 years. Well, 25 years before the last decade. And then Penn State has just owned it. And that's all because of James Franklin. He's a great recruiter. He's not a good schematic guy. He's not a good X's and O's guy, but he's a culture guy. And so guaranteed Virginia Tech overnight would have the culture rebuilt, get some talent in. And I think with Franklin, they'd win 8, 9 games a year. I don't think, I mean, at Virginia Tech, it's an easier path to the playoff, I'd say. Whereas Penn State, 'cause you're playing Michigan, Ohio State, really tough teams every year. Whereas Virginia Tech, obviously in the ACC, any given year, there's sometimes you don't really have to go through anybody like this year. So yeah, 100% he would put Virginia Tech back on the map. I think their ceiling would be capped versus another coach they could get. In terms of immediate success, yeah, it would be a home run hire for Tech. So in that sense, I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I do agree with it'd be like the scariest coach they could get, but and also I do think it could be the last two coaches Virginia Tech has gotten. There's always been somebody before them that's like, oh, they're in talks. Like I swear this has happened 3 times, even with like offensive defensive coordinators.
It happens
Um,
everywhere, like not just Tech, but any big head coaching search. Like UVA's 3 years ago, same thing. Like there's always the first guy is like not the guy that you end up getting.
yeah,
But again, it could be real. We don't know. Got to give it a couple
yeah.
weeks, maybe to the end of the year.
I don't know much about the coaching searches other than get an FCS guy. That's kind of why I'm rooting for James Franklin because I don't want to see Bob Chesney go to Virginia Tech. Like
See, that's the thing. Yeah.
I would love to see him go to like Penn State, anywhere other than Virginia Tech is honestly preferable. Just because like we play him next year.
Virginia Tech fans don't want him. That's like their worst case scenario because they don't think he's that good. They think he's just riding the coattails of Kurt Signetti at JMU. And to be fair, like, I totally agreed with that going into this season. Like I thought last year JMU really underperformed and was down from the standard that they had set all the years beforehand. But so far this year, the way they've been killing teams the past few weeks, and the way they played against Louisville, I'm hopeful, assuming they finish out the year strong and win out, then I'll be like, okay, Chesney's probably the real deal. But I got to wait till the end of the year to make that decision.
Yeah, and that's why I wouldn't say he leaves this year. I don't know.
I think
I
there's no
mean,
way. There's only one job he would take, or there's only one job that he would possibly be offered, and that's Virginia Tech. I don't think he's not, he has to go to another school before he goes to a big school like Penn State. Like he's got to do a stepping stone, and Virginia Tech would be a realistic option for him. If Franklin falls through, I honestly think that might be Tech's first call. I don't know.
yeah. And it's more of like think I don't think we like I just don't want to stop rooting for the guy because the guy's like super like nice,
If he goes to Tech, you got to
super.
stop rooting for
Yeah, 100%.
him.
Anyway, that's enough coaching talk this week. Except any news about Tony Elliott? Is he getting hired anywhere? Maybe Tech takes him.
No, nobody wants
Just
him.
kidding.
He's going to have another 2 of these years. And again,
Yeah,
like I said before, there's only one school he would leave UVA for,
yeah,
and that's
Clemson.
Clemson. So until Dabo's gone, I'm not too worried about that.
So on, I think this is probably the most fun little thing we all have is a Louisville common opponent,
Oh
and
yeah,
Virginia Tech plays them next week,
at
or
home.
excuse me, this coming Saturday at home. Yep.
This is a
Uh,
dangerous game.
yeah, I know. Coming off, dude. Oh my God, if Virginia Tech beats Louisville, I'm going to cry. I'd cry.
This is a
What do you
little
think,
bit of
Luke?
yeah, go ahead, Luke.
Oh, he might not be on. Go ahead.
I think this is a little bit of a trap game for Louisville because they've been on a run, obviously after beating Miami, and then after the Tech game, they played Cal, which they think is an easy win, but then they got Clemson and SMU and SEC school in Kentucky to end the year. So all I'm sure Louisville fans and or maybe not diehard Louisville fans, but most people around the country look at this and like, oh, easy win for Louisville. Tech sucks this year. And Louisville's favored by 10.5. But I don't know, you disagree with me, I know, but it's just something, and this is every year with Tech. It's like
Yeah, I agree.
they get better week by week. And it doesn't matter if they fired the coach. Like they just always have this swagger to them. And this is why I hate playing Tech in the last game of the year. If UVA played Tech the first game of the year, I swear to God, we would be 50-50 in the past 20 years. Like it's just Tech gets up for the UVA game at the end of the year like it's a Super Bowl. And if they just got up like that for every game, then they should have been winning 8, 9 games the past decade, and they haven't. But my point is, ever since they fired Pry, I feel like the locker room came together and they have been playing literally like they're playing UVA, but they're playing with that chip on their shoulder. They're playing with that swagger, and that's fucking scary. Basically, ever since the ODU game, like they killed Wofford, they went on the road to NC State. They were huge underdogs. Nobody thought they had a chance in that game. They beat NC State. They lost to Wake Forest at home by 1 possession, and at the time, we thought that was a bad loss. But Wake is just rattling off wins now. They're one of the best rushing offenses in the country out of nowhere. Have one of the best defenses in the ACC out of nowhere. They beat SMU last week, who I think is one of the best teams in the ACC. So that loss is looking more and more impressive. Not to mention Virginia Tech should have won that game. I watched that whole thing. And then Tech lost at Georgia Tech in a tough one the following week. Okay, that's literally the best team in the ACC. And then beat Cal. So like, I don't know. I think every week Tech's getting more dangerous. A little sneak peek ahead. I'm more scared now for the UVA Tech game, just knowing this is what they fucking do. They just get better by when November comes. So all to say, I think Louisville's in for it. I'm not willing to just go on and just predict the upset, but I think 10.5 at Lane Stadium is nuts. So that would be one of my biggest bets. A little preview for one of the bets I would like to make. I think Virginia Tech definitely covers that. So my prediction would be very, very tight ball game. Comes down to the end. I'll say Louisville sneaks by 30 to 27. I think Tech's going to give them everything they can handle.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. The best coach in the country is the interim coach.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah, you know it.
yep. So I think it'll be tight for a little while, maybe, but I think Louisville's front seven is too much for Tech.
That's
If they
fair.
could throw the ball, I would have different opinions, but if their whole offense is running, just like JMU's was when they played them, they have like a very good defensive line, good linebackers, good safeties. I couldn't say on the cornerbacks, but they just have a good defense. As you saw with, well, shit, the cornerback's pretty good too. Obviously, they picked off Beck 4 times last week
Yeah.
in the Miami game. I'll definitely watch this one for sure. I think it'll be an interesting game. I can't imagine Louisville losing, but it's ACC, just
Yeah.
like, you know, I think, and this is where I think college football gets interesting because the ACC or SEC is the best. Oh, Big Ten's the best. Maybe I think if you put, I kind of want to go too extreme with this. If you put Louisville, let's just call it Louisville, right? Top 20 team. Not like Alabama, not Ohio State. But if you put them in a group of five conference, I guarantee they lose one game, maybe two. I just don't think the difference between the lower ends of the conferences and everybody else is that far off.
I don't know if this is the exact opposite of what you're saying, because that statement right there, UVA, Louisville, teams like that, like Wake Forest, NC State, Carolina, or Carolina on an average year, not this year. We're in a group of five conference. Yes, I do agree they would most likely have 1 or 2 losses. But on the flip side of that, I do, maybe I'm a little bit of an elitist myself, but I try and picture like putting UVA or a Louisville in the SEC. I think they would get dog walked. Like instead of playing fucking Cal or Carolina on a Saturday, instead of traveling to Cal or traveling to NC State, you're traveling to Kentucky, who you look at Kentucky and they're like 4-8 in the SEC. Well, that 4-8 in the SEC is probably 7-5 in the ACC. So it's like the worst of the SEC would be competing in the ACC. So it's like the bottom of the SEC would be mid-tier ACC teams. And so it's like, I don't know. Like South Carolina, for example. If South Carolina's team was in the ACC this year, they'd be like 8-4, but they're going to end up 4-8 in the SEC because their schedule is so brutal. Like, just accept that the ACC is a joke. I mean, it really is, and like I try to root for it because it's my conference, but it's a joke. Like if like UVA, that we went out, we go 11-1. I'm not going to sit up on my pedestal and be like, oh my God, we deserve the college football playoff. No, we don't. Our schedule is a joke. We haven't beat anybody. We haven't played anybody. We would be fighting at the end with South Carolina, and they're one of the worst teams in the SEC this year. Like that's just a reality. Their depth goes way beyond anything the ACC can provide. So yeah, I think SEC and Big Ten are so far ahead of everybody else, and then the ACC is closer to the Big 12 or some of the top teams in the strongest Group of Five conference than they are the SEC or Big Ten. So I agree
Yeah,
with what you're saying, but then I have a very strong opinion on how much better the SEC and Big Ten is than the ACC.
I do agree with that. I do agree with what you said, but I don't think the bottom of the SEC, definitely not the bottom of Big Ten, because Big Ten is the bottom is like
Well, Big
the
Ten's
Big Ten
different.
has the
The
Big Ten
bottom of the
has
Big
the
Ten is
best
really
teams.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There,
SEC
I
has more
mean,
depth. Big Ten
yeah,
is better at the
depth.
top. Yeah, exactly.
Yep, 100%. I think if you take, like you said, Kentucky, agreed about the ACC, but the ACC is just really weak this year. The American has more out of conference P5 wins than the ACC does. Look it up. But so just say you put Kentucky and the American AAC, and do you think they beat UCF or Memphis? Or I think it'd be like kind of a toss up. I see.
I
I think
do.
it'd be a toss up.
I mean, but again, like it goes to that too. Like I think the AAC is kind of a joke because of who they're playing week in and week out. Like at the very top, yeah, they'll have one, and if they're lucky, two teams a year where they can compete with somebody. Like for example, this year, South Florida upset Florida on the road. But what if you had to play the quality of Florida not just once a year, but 10 weeks out of the year? That's so different. You're doing that week by week. Now you're getting banged up because you're going up against real athletes. Like it's just different. And it's hard to compare because nobody obviously knows for sure. But it's like I look like a team like ECU who I follow. My girlfriend went there. I've been following their football program for a while. A lot of my friends went there, and they're a team in the AAC where like I go to their games and watch them play like Charlotte or Memphis or Tulane, and it's just like even against the ACC, that quality of play is just such an obvious step down from just watching UVA versus Wake Forest. Like you can just see it. Like they have maybe one or two guys on the field with the same speed and athleticism and size than an ACC starting depth has. It's a big difference to me. But that doesn't mean that for 1 week, one of these teams can go out there and beat an ACC school's ass. So there's obviously teams out there that can do it on a week basis, but if you're playing these teams week after week, it's not sustainable.
I see what you're saying. What do you think, Luke?
Well, Luke needs to give his prediction for Virginia Tech this week since we lost him there for a little bit.
Virginia Tech against they playing this week, Louisville.
Louisville.
It's a rough one. What did JMU beat Louisville by, and what did UVA beat Louisville by?
JMU
JMU
lost to
lost.
Louisville by 14. UVA beat Louisville by 3.
Dang, see, that's hard. Because I think these majority of the time, JMU has better defense than Virginia Tech. So that's what worries me. And Virginia Tech's offensive line. So if y'all won by 14, lost by 7, spread's probably 7.5 for Louisville.
10.5.
Oh, 10.5. Oh, I'd take that spread all day.
That's
Take
what I
that spread.
said.
Take that for Tech all day. Take that. Take that plus 10.5 for Tech. Yeah, I think is it home or away?
Luke, how do you not know this? This is like the biggest game of the year.
His biggest game of the year is against UVA, son. I don't know if you know that or not.
Oh yeah, Zach. I actually meant to say I listen to like a lot of Virginia Tech podcasts. I would listen to UVA podcasts, but there's none out there. If you could shoot me some recommendations, I would listen to them. But they pretty much Virginia Tech has UVA as a win, even though they're ranked 15 in the country. Isn't that crazy? That is so insane to me. They're
I mean,
like, yeah, we're gonna beat UVA. It's like, says who?
bro,
The
but this
dogs come
this goes
out, dude.
back.
The dogs come
This goes
out.
back to what I was saying. Like it's all they care about. Like they could go 1-11, but if that one win is against UVA, it's like that's what little brother does, right? They can't win in anything else. Their only championship they have is in bass fishing. Like they have nothing else other than beating UVA. You can't even make bowl games.
Whoa, come on now. Our softball team's pretty
Their
solid.
softball team.
Like that.
Oh, and sorry, their wrestling. Their wrestling is the best in the country. That's actually a true statement. I just
Yeah,
learned that.
that is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they got the best recruit of all time in wrestling, like a month ago.
Yeah. And then
Isn't that their
they
only?
got number one. They got two of the best. Like they got two. Like they had the top wrestler in the country, and then they got the newest recruit that's like the top in his like last year, and then he redshirted this year so he can play next year. Yeah, with the
See,
wrestling. So it's
see,
sweet. Yeah.
nobody in the world knows about college wrestling more than Hokie fans. Like
You know, You don't even know who you play next week in
Yeah,
football,
but he
but you
knows
know your
wrestling.
red-shirted freshman wrestler.
It's on the news. It's on the news feed.
Fair enough.
But no, it's just like what I'm saying, or what I was saying earlier. Like they just get up for the game more than anything. And if they got up for the UVA game, like they did every other game on their schedule, they'd probably be a half decent team. So yeah. Anyways, look, yeah, I said Tech would cover. I think it's gonna be a really tight game coming down to the end. I can't outright pick the upset, but I think Louisville will win tight by 3. Austin, did you even give your prediction for this one?
No, I think they win by 10.
So they barely cover the spread.
Yeah, I'd agree they don't cover the spread, but I don't think it's like in question.
So you think Louisville's going to win by 11?
I said 10.
Yeah, but the spread's at -10.5.
Yeah, I said they don't cover the spread, but I don't think the game is ever in question.
He's saying Louisville doesn't cover.
Okay. Oh, that's then they don't cover at -10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so let's
But
go.
I think Cameron Jones is going to throw a bunch of pigs, so it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I guarantee he doesn't throw over 200. That's what I told Zach. I was like, I think if they had a passing offense, I would be concerned, but the Louisville front seven is going to eat up Virginia Tech.
But you look at the stats for like, why the hell would you throw the ball when you're rushing for almost 400 yards? Like they ran the ball 20 times in a row for a reason because it was working. It's like I don't care if Cam Newton's back there. Cam Newton can throw the ball. Obviously, we know that, but he's a great runner. So let's just run him if it's working. So that's the same way I feel about it. It's like Tebow. Like once he gets in a rhythm running the ball, what is the point? The only time you're going to throw it is to fake somebody out or do some play action, and it worked beautifully against Cal. Like they were running the ball all game, and they do some play action, throw it deep, bam, touchdown to green. It's like that's what scares me against UVA is because we're not good against that.
Yeah, no, but the issue with that, the first touchdown pass, it was beautiful, right, by Tech. But then they had literally 4 drives in a row that were 3 and out. So you look at that one good play, and then you're looking at 4 other drives after that, and they're not adding up. You see what I'm saying? The consistency is not there. Even like me and Austin were even while we were at that game, we were like, dang, these players keep getting first downs. It was like 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, punt after they got that touchdown. So it was very frustrating kind of to watch that, not be able to put the ball in the end zone after they did so easily the first drive.
It's fair.
Even UVA had that issue last week against UNC.
Oh, yeah, the same reason with Tech. Our O-line's banged up. We can't, well, it's actually way different than Tech. We just can't run the ball. Running the ball establishes our offense. It opens up things for Chandler, and we haven't been able to do that for 3 weeks now. So Tech on the
The,
meanwhile, it's just consistency between the balance of passing and throwing, I feel like.
the last
For
time
sure.
Kyron Jones threw more than 200 yards passing was against Wofford. So I take that
Yeah.
back.
No, I'm
Or
not
that it
arguing
was
that
against
bet.
OD.
I'm just saying he doesn't need to throw for 200 to win.
Take the under. I agree. I said that too. I think they should have a running offense.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what do we got for national news? Have we talked about Kelly firing from LSU yet? I think
But
maybe go ahead.
no, but that LSU job is pretty. If I was like Nick Saban, something like that, I'd definitely be going to LSU. They're offering $53 million
That's
for
an
their coaching
insane.
position.
That's
Stupid.
insane. Do you know why you shouldn't take that job? Because the governor is trying
Is
to hire
picking
for
the,
that job.
yeah. And they just fired the AD like earlier today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
It's a
but if
political
you're
job. I would
if
not take that.
nah.
but if you're Nick Saban, you can already walk into there and say, "Listen, I'm not listening to any of y'all shit. I got who has more than 2 national championships. The man has 7.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to
Okay,
coach.
he
He
can
has nothing
walk in
left to
there and he can
prove.
do all
All he
that."
can do is take an L in his legacy, like Belichick. Like
Yeah.
Saban's the greatest coach of all time. There's absolutely zero reason he should ever coach another down in football because it could only hurt
Well,
him.
greatest coach of college, not greatest coach of NFL. He failed.
No, that's what I said. Yeah, Nick Saban's the greatest college. People think Belichick's the greatest NFL. I think it's Andy Reid, but it's neither here nor there.
That's got a crazy statement there.
How is Bill Belichick the greatest coach in the
He
NFL?
was carried by Tom Brady. Anytime Tom
Carried
Brady
by Tom
wasn't the
Brady?
quarterback,
Are
he was
you okay?
horrible.
Okay. Hold on. Time out.
It's confirmed.
Hold on. Time out.
It's
Tom
literally
Brady went to
confirmed.
Tampa
Okay.
Bay
Hold
and
on.
won a Super Bowl
Hold on.
with
Okay, let's
nobody.
talk about this. Okay, let's talk about
No,
this.
no, no. It's a college
But
football.
before he was the coach at the Patriots, where did he coach? He coached
Cleveland.
LT LT and the Giants when they won the Super Bowl.
What?
That was his first coaching job, defensive coordinator
Yeah,
with
he's a
Hey,
Nick
we're not
defensive
talking
Saban
about
coordinator.
at the
coordinator.
Giants, bro.
We're talking about
Yeah.
head coach. He was the head
So is
coach
he
at
the best?
Cleveland and didn't do anything. Then he
Yep.
goes to New England, walked into Tom Brady, and rattled
Yep.
off a bunch of Super Bowls. And then Tom Brady leaves, and he's in the dumpster again. It just doesn't
Yep.
bode well for his resume.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, they also had a lot of wide receiver issues. Thanks to that nature. I mean,
They didn't have
who
wide
else? I
receiver
mean,
issues with Tom Brady.
yeah,
Well,
they
that's a
did.
funny thing.
Julian
They
Edelman
did,
was
and Tom Brady covered it
quarterback.
up, which further
Crazy.
Yep.
shows
With a bunch of white kids.
So,
the
5'8"
cross
white
yeah.
kids.
players.
Yep.
I mean, did he? I mean, when they went 17-1, they had.
Could you hear him? I couldn't hear him.
No, we can't hear him.
When they went 17-1, they had Randy Moss.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why they went 17-1.
the best
No,
quarterback
they
ever
lost
against
the
one of the
Super
best
Bowl.
receivers
So,
ever.
Yep.
All right, all
Okay,
right.
enough NFL.
Let's go into
What?
picks.
All right, yeah. It's time. Luke, I know you don't know who you play next week, but I know you got some picks.
we got 80 picks right now.
All right.
Y'all go
I got you.
first. I'm gonna look up some things.
No, I got you. I'll go first. You look while you're driving.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, you can't be snitching on me now, dude. Come on now.
You're driving, doing a podcast, and looking at ESPN right now.
I'm looking at you.
What do you think about Penn State upsetting Ohio State?
That would be
What if they
crazy.
get
That would
upset?
actually be insane. That line is actually crazy though. 28 and a half. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see Penn State covering that pretty easily.
It covered the line for sure. But Ohio State's defense is absolutely retarded this year.
I don't think you can say that.
Can the retard nation miss me that by that much in my family?
I'm going to say Memphis
That's
and
funny.
Rice. Memphis and Rice. Memphis, 7-1. They're playing at Rice, and they're a 13.5 point favorite.
Hmm.
Rice runs they run an option offense, kind of like a Navy offense, like the new Navy offense, where it's like a little bit of shotgun and then triple option off of it. But their defense is crazy, so I'm taking Rice to cover. I think that they always have like low scoring games, and then the total was 48.5. I don't know if I'd take the under. That's pretty low, but I'd consider it.
Yeah. No, I agree
That's
with that.
definitely one. I'm also gonna say Vanderbilt beats Texas. Texas 3.5 point favorite.
Arch Manning's probably not going to play.
Playing, yeah, but playing to their advantage is Arch Manning won't be playing. So the actual good quarterback can play, not just a Manning. You like that?
Yeah, I was gonna say that one. I like that. I like Vanderbilt going to Texas to beat Texas at home.
Texas is dog shit. But I've
Yeah,
been picking
for
them
sure.
every week. I've been picking them every week to lose, and they haven't lost yet. They've tried. They've tried their
They've
best.
literally tried, yeah. So I'm not gonna have just a very specific pick, but it's just funny this week looking at the ACC schedule. I literally disagree with every single line in the ACC this week. This has never happened before. So I'm just going to rattle them all off really
Mhm.
quickly. Syracuse is favored to Carolina by 2.5. Syracuse has been absolute dog shit ever since they lost their quarterback. I think Carolina upset Syracuse. They're due for a win. They've lost two heartbreakers in a row. They're playing really good football. I take Carolina upset Syracuse. Miami at SMU. Miami's favored by 10.5. SMU's going to be fired up after the heartbreaker loss to Wake Forest last week. I think SMU covers that. I'm not going to predict it right outset, but I think they cover. Duke at Clemson. Clemson's favored by 3.5. I think Duke covers and possibly wins that game. I already went over Virginia Tech, Louisville. Virginia Tech covers. Pittsburgh at Stanford. Pitt's favored by 14.5. That's a fucking ridiculous line for an ACC game. Stanford's getting better week by week. Look good for 3 quarters against Miami. Georgia Tech at NC State. I guess this is my big upset one. I'm taking NC State to beat Georgia Tech at home. Georgia Tech's favored by 6.5. NC State, they're on the fire Dave Dorian train right now. They're miserable. They're due for just something to go right in that program. And Georgia Tech they've looked really good, but Haynes King is up and down sometimes. I'm going to predict he has a down week. NC State squeaks by Georgia Tech. That's my big upset. And then lastly, Wake Forest at Florida State. Florida State's favored by 10.5. I think Wake Forest wins outright. Mike Norvell gets fired the following Sunday. Bada bing, bada boom.
Who does Florida State play?
Wake.
Yeah, they probably lose that. Luke, you got anything?
Yeah, my one upset bet of the week this week is going to be SMU to beat the dog shit out of Miami.
I like it.
Sparks and bets. Rated. I like SMU.
Me too.
SMU, what they're building is crazy. They got a bunch of athletes. I think they're going to upset Florida this week.
Miami.
Miami. Yeah, Miami.
I like it.
I'm not going to disagree with Luke anymore. But I think Miami gets the old get right game, but that's just me. After losing to
Punching back to
Louisville.
4 interceptions a couple weeks ago. Come on now.
Yeah, but I just think
They had
maybe they
two get
were.
right quarters against Stanford last week.
Oh, shit. Oh, wow.
Stanford was beating them in the first half, and I think at halftime it was only a 3-point game at home for Miami. And then the second
Hmm.
half they kind of just blew their socks off.
Interesting. That changes my answer. Never mind. I shouldn't have doubted Luke.
I was wrong last week. I owed Zach $25. UVA won. They pulled that out their ass, dog. That was bullshit.
Blame
Zach, you guys
Belichick.
bet on that?
Yeah, we did 25.
Yeah, it's in the chat. I was
Oh,
scared to do it, but I felt Luke pressured me into it. I got lucky.
If Bill Belichick would have just kicked the damn field goal.
Exactly. They would have beat us if we went to a second OT. I put my life on that.
And
Yeah,
that's
the
what I was
two
saying.
was
That's what I was saying.
insane.
The hardest thing for UVA is that if Chandler Morris is going into it injured, which he was, it was going to be a tough game for you. And that's what it turned out to be. And I think it's going to be, I think it's, as long as Chandler Morris struggles, y'all are going to struggle. This is how it is. Doesn't matter how well your defense plays. If your quarterback suffers, then the rest of your team's going to suffer.
I do agree with that because if Chandler Morris can't run, like you were saying, they're not really calling RPOs and those type of plays, like read option plays, then I think the running game even struggles too.
No, it's not rocket science. Like people on the message boards, like, why has our offense suck for 3 weeks? Like it's so easy. We two offense linemen went down, so now we're like, and sorry, Chandler Morris is not the strength of our offense. He's not our best player. Our biggest strength and why we were scoring so many points was because of Jamari Taylor, our running back, and our offensive line. We were able to run the ball. We're a heavy, predominantly run team. We're not a passing team. We're a zone run team. That's all. Like if we could run the ball every play, we would. And we were dominating in the run game for the first half of the year, which opened up Chandler to go play action, do some RPO, and then defense have no idea what we're doing. And we're putting up points that we haven't put up since like the early 2000s. And then our starting tight end, Dakota Twitty, goes down. So now we're not able to do two tight end sets because our third string tight end fucking sucks and our second string is okay. So now we can't do two tight end sets, so we can't power run like we were. You can put an extra hat in the box if you're on defense. And now you're going to say, Chandler, injury or not, you either have to run it or throw it. And so he was able to run the ball really successfully. So we were able to overcome that. And then he gets more banged up, so now he can't run. And so now our offense is probably one of the most predictable offenses there is. We can't run the ball now. Chandler can't run the ball. And so the only way to beat defenses now when you load the box is to beat them over the top. And Chandler just hasn't been able to do that consistently. And then when you lose a guy like Cam Ross, who is one of the only guys that could beat somebody over the top, you see a game like Carolina last week where a high school offense would look better. So we're in trouble right now if we don't fix the running game. We have to be
What
able
does
to run
that
the
mean?
ball.
Is Cam Ross your wide receiver that's hurt?
He's back this
Or
week, but he missed the Carolina game and the
I
Washington
saw
State
that.
game the whole second half.
Yeah, I think that's what's killing a lot of Virginia teams is not having enough depth. Like our depth
Exactly.
is
It's not good.
very shaky.
Yeah, that's why I said like that's what happened to JMU last year. But we've been pretty lucky this year with health wise. But we also rotate a lot of positions.
Keep that safety healthy, man.
Yeah, he gets hurt every game. He's like,
But he's a bullet when he's playing. He's a tank.
yeah, then he gets like, yeah. Anyway. All right, that's all I got for you. Any other news, notes?
No, sir.
Well, thank you everybody for listening to Who Runs the Commonwealth. Anybody want to give me a quick Who Runs the Commonwealth? Is it still UVA?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's UVA at least until they lose. I mean, they're 7-1 right now.
I think we'd have to lose at least two more. We we own the tiebreaker with JMU with the Louisville game. But if Virginia Tech
Yeah,
beats Louisville, well, JMU's record versus Virginia Tech's record is still, and JMU beat ODU by a billion, and Virginia Tech lost ODU. So that's hard.
But what if Cal loses to? What if UVA loses to Cal this
I think JMU jumps UVA though.
Yeah,
week?
But I don't think. I mean, you beat them in overtime, Cal, but that just means you're as good as Cal,
I give
which
him
is not very good.
Cal sucks.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll get back into it, but right now, who runs the Commonwealth?
UVA.
Zach. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye.